Welcome back, everybody. This is my new series called Welcome Back, episode 1. And in this new series, I'll just be kind of quickly running down a couple of key things from what happened in the week. Get people caught up if you were too busy working to kind of pay attention. And the first thing I'm going to start off with is Sam Tripoli's channel being restored. I talked about this in my little podcast, Sam Tripoli Didn't Kill Himself, episode 2, but this, this was cool. It was an example of us being able to pick someone up rather than kind of cancel them out, which has kind of been the trend. He got canceled out. The horde, as it were, I prefer to call them the people. The people rallied together, and we helped to get his channel restored. And he had some help from some big names in the biz. He has some big buddies, and they came to his aid too, and that's super cool. But us little guys, we also fired our 2 cents in at YouTube and let them know that, hey man, there's nothing, this is wrong, and there's nothing here other than, some strange weirdness and nothing to be canceled out for. So it was a big win, and I'm thankful for it that we got to pick somebody back up, get them put back on, and just super cool. And I mentioned in my previous show, get yourself an extra slice of pie, extra dab of whipped cream, what have you. For me, I got me a nice little milkshake. That's what I like, and I had me some pie, so I'm kind of super indulgent here a little bit, but I guess I'll have to go walking tomorrow. But like I said, it's really cool, and it's a good win for positivity, which I think we need a lot more of. In the cancel culture, we uncanceled someone who was canceled, and that's super cool. And so I hope everybody who didn't know that this was happening, now knows, hey, this can be done. We don't have to just watch people that we know shouldn't be canceled out, and that our voices can be heard. And, sometimes it takes some big names to come into the mix, but I don't think that was it alone. I also think it was the amount of respondents that were letting YouTube know and Google know that, there really wasn't anything wrong with this guy's shows. He's not sitting there saying anything too out of the way. He's just looking into the weird strangeness, and if your name is in the weird strangeness, well, hey, there you are. So I don't want to go too much more into it. If you want to know more and relive the drama, you can look at some of my previous shows. But I just wanted to welcome back Sam Tripoli to podcasting on YouTube, and welcome him back to the creator community. Really glad, like I said, that we were able to pick somebody up and uncancel a canceled individual. So that's just super cool. So enjoy your pie, enjoy your milkshake. Salute to everybody who lended a hand in getting that done, and we all deserve a pat on the back for that. We got to uncancel a canceled individual who didn't deserve to be canceled. So I'm going to do my best. I've caught myself already doing it a couple of times, saying ums in your nose like I'm Naruto or something. Don't you know? I do it a lot. So I went back and watched my episode 2 of Sam Tripoli Didn't Kill Himself, and I just couldn't believe how many knows were in there. And I was doing it just here a second ago and had to catch myself again. It's difficult, but I'll do my best not to blow your eardrums up with too many ums and knows, but just bear with me. It's a learning process. It's kind of how I talk, so it'll take me a little bit to get out of the habit of using those filler words, as it were. And just bear with me. That's all I can say. It's not going to happen overnight, but as I get more and more into this, I'll hopefully stop using those filler words as much, but don't you know? All right, so moving on from that, let's see. What else happened in today's wonderful world of welcome back? Carbon dioxide hits a level not seen for 3 million years. Here's what that means for climate change and humanity. Well, basically, what this means is we got a lot of carbon dioxide, and it's going to heat things up. I mean, we're already seeing that with weather patterns. I see it here in North Carolina, where I'm from. You know, the weather's always been crazy here in the Triangle, but it's gotten warmer and warmer every every year, and I see that all the time. And there was times that it used to be cold in freaking August. It was cold. As a kid when I was growing up here, it was cold in August. Now you don't start getting cold temperatures until late October, November, and then boom, we just had a week of 60s. So one of the things that you can do is, as overwhelming as this seems, right? Oh my God, the world's coming to an end. The catastrophic carbon dioxide levels. All that's true. It's true. But when you look at it in its totality, it looks like this unstoppable kind of thing. And I had a very interesting conversation with a medical doctor, regarding mountains and molehills. And it reminded me of this book I was reading called Atomic Habits. And one of the atomic habits is try to be 1% better every day. And it kind of follows that mountain and molehill philosophy. If you look at this, we're at carbon dioxide levels not seen for 3 million years. That's a freaking ginormous mountain. That is a huge mountain of trouble, and or a huge iceberg of trouble headed for our little Titanic, like we haven't seen, right? But here's the thing. If we all can control our own little areas, and if we take time to plant different plants and different vegetation and do things to reduce our own emission levels within our own sphere, right? Our own little personal sphere. Well, that's a little molehill, right? We've conquered that little molehill that we can conquer. But if everybody's doing that, that's going to add up to one big giant mountain of improvement. And it doesn't take a lot. Like this plant behind me, the reason I bought this joker was because it removes not only carbon dioxide, it's not only good for putting in more oxygen into the home, but it also removes things like ammonia and other chemicals. And you can research this stuff online. I don't remember which plant this is. I bought it a couple years ago, but you can, and I've got a couple different ones like this, all of varying degrees, that remove certain chemicals and remove carbon dioxide and are medium light versus high light. I've got different cactuses for aloe and things like that, and you'll be surprised what natural aloe can do. It's pretty impressive. You just have like a little burn or some irritation from some dishpan hands or something, and you put a little natural aloe on there, and Merry Christmas. Everything's back to normal. But if we all do things like that and try to improve our own little sphere, we can plant vegetation and things outside that also help to contribute to the outside air quality around our homes. If you live in an apartment, you can put stuff in your windowsill, things like that. But just tackling those little molehills that you can, right? And not getting too caught up in the mountain of it all. If everybody does that, then we can sit there and make a massive improvement with the air quality around us. And, as electric cars become more prevalent, we're going to see car emissions drop as people begin to, grow their own foods, um, have meatless dinners, or go all meat, whatever's clever. Either way, if you're consuming one thing over another, that's allowing those other consumables to go somewhere else. So you don't have to worry about that. I know some people are big on the carnivore diet. I am looking into that. I do paleo myself. I've lost over 100 pounds since last year, and I did that with paleo, and I did that with exercise. But one of the cool things that I'm reading about when I read the carnivore diet is, like, Michaela Peterson, who started this trend with the carnivore diet, which is just basically meat only, is fasting. And so she's just attempting a fast. And if we can all get back to that way of being where we are incorporating fasting, it's something I'm starting to look at too. But that's less consumption. That's not only good for our pocketbooks, but that's also good for the environment. If we're not taking in as many food items, as we used to, then that's a reduction in consumption. And that will also help with the overall need for the amount of production that's currently going on, right? The only reason that producers produce this much is because they believe there's a demand for it. Whether that's true or not, they believe there's a demand for it. And as people begin to explore these different avenues, it changes that dynamic. And as they start to realize, the benefits of fasting seem to be proven by all the studies. And it's just, we're not raised in the American society per se to do that. We look for, we do look at food choices, but we're not even given many options there. But fasting is rarely talked about as an option. But as you get older, man, one of the benefits of fasting is it seems to improve your tendons and areas that, as you get older, get injured easier. So, fasting as a way of being for older folk may be in our best interest. And so I'm currently exploring that. But, just getting back to it, there's little things that we as people can do that, may only add up to a molehill, as it were. But if everybody puts in their little molehill, that's going to add up to a huge mountain. Like I said, just getting some good plants, getting some good air quality in your house, getting some good vegetation outside your house, just improving that air quality around your surroundings. Get some little plants in your office if they allow you to. Just making those minor little incremental improvements, it will really help the biosphere around you, and it'll also help improve your mood. Better air quality, obviously you're getting more oxygen, and more oxygen makes your everything work better. We're designed to run off of oxygen. So, get a little bit cleaner oxygen around you, and you might not have that 2 p.m. crash. You might be able to just finish it on up and get on down the road. But, when I read this, the earth will be fine with or without us. The earth has proven that it'll wipe, if you piss the earth off enough, it'll wipe everything out and start all over. And and that's just that. And so, do your part, whatever that little part is. It doesn't have to be a lot. Heck, just buy one plant. That's something. That's one plant that wasn't there. But, Google it, do your research, and find out what plant is best suited for your particular environment or environments. And, just, do your little molehill. And if everybody does that, it really will add up to a mountain of benefit that may help fight and combat some of this carbon dioxide that we're seeing. And everybody, you don't, like I said, you don't have to take on the mountain, right? Together, we are a mountain. And if we all do our little part, then who knows? We can really turn this thing around. But it doesn't take a lot to do it. Just some good conscious decision can make a real difference. What else do we got in the world of welcome back? Well, not enough babies are being born to replace the U.S. population. Well, based on that previous article, that may not be a bad thing, right? I don't know. And, it may also mean more opportunity for junior or juniorette, depending on if the robots don't take over everything. But it is an interesting statistic to find out that more babies aren't being born. And, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I don't know. The jury for me is still out on this. I think, have a baby when you're ready. And sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes you have a baby when you're not ready. And that's okay too. You never know who's supposed to come in and when, but hey, holidays are coming up. If you're feeling like having one, get a little freaky, and you can say you're doing it and you're helping the U.S. population. So, but it is interesting to know that not a lot of people are having children. I don't know if that speaks to... I don't know what that speaks to, I'll be honest. It could be that more people are, we're creating a more selfish generation that just wants to take care of itself and just pop out and in and out of existence, and that's that. They don't feel like they need to rear any progeny or bring anything into the world. They just wanted to enjoy it, and that's that. And that's okay. I don't know. It could mean that, humanity is reaching a point that it instinctively knows there's too many people. I'd be interested to know if this is a worldwide event. Are we seeing a population decline on a global scale, or is this just particular to the U.S. population? And if it's particular to the U.S. population, it may be because of this new work trend that happened when we had the Great Recession, right? When the Great Recession struck, everybody started working basically 2 jobs to, stay employed and to keep the economy going. And that hasn't stopped, even though they say the economy's recovered. Everybody rolled up their sleeves, they pitched in, and they did what they needed to do, but we haven't seen the adjustment of that back, right? They're still working those 12-hour days, and when you work 12-hour days, man, the math doesn't add up, right? You're only awake 16 hours out of a 24-hour period. So if you subtract 12 hours from 16, well, that leaves you 4 hours. Now throw your commute in there. Right? If you're working a 12-hour day and you're driving an hour each way, well, that's 14 hours out of a 16-hour day. So that leaves you 2 hours to run a household. And really, you can't even do that, within 2 hours. That gives you basically 10 hours a week to run your household, excluding weekends. The math just doesn't work. And so if people are really expecting people to work like that, there is no room for children, right? Where do you fit rearing a child into that kind of a schedule? The math just doesn't work. And, they said that the economy has recovered, but yet, there's still in some of these expectations, even though all the business literature points against doing this, right? All the business literature says anything over 50 hours and productivity and performance just drop like a freaking weight in water, right? And not only do they drop after that 50-hour mark, it affects the 50 hours before the 50-hour mark, if that makes sense. The up to 50 hours, the quality of the work just dramatically plummets. So yeah, the math doesn't work, and I would be interested if it's just us, because to me that would explain it. There's just not enough time to raise a family when you're working like that, and nor do you have the wherewithal, right? That's what they're saying. Your productivity, the quality of the work, everything declines, right? Everything declines. Um, so as a result, we might be seeing just too many people too tired to want to even have children. They're like, man, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just showing up, and how the hell can I bring a kid into this? I don't even have time to wipe my ass. You know. So so that's interesting. Like I said, I need to do some more research into this. But if anybody's got any information on that, I'd love to know if we're seeing this as a worldwide phenomenon or is this a U.S. only thing. If it's a worldwide phenomenon, it could be something with humanity just instinctively knowing that we're putting too much pressure on our ecology, and it could be something instinctual of nature that we're just going into a kind of cool down mode where we're like, whoop, kind of got a little crazy with the cheese whiz. We got to slow it down a little. But I don't think that's the case. I think what we're experiencing here may be due to stress. Quite frankly, I think we've stressed the U.S. population a little too much, and that's why we're seeing this. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. But if you're feeling a little overworked and you don't know what to do with yourself, well, now you can sunbathe your asshole for wellness. And so this is something that's apparently a trend, and there's an old saying, right? Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining, right? Well, don't sunbathe your asshole and don't tell me it's wellness, right? There's this closeted homosexuality, right? That's what this is. This is a cloak and dagger gay bar, man. I mean, come on, let's just call it what it is, right? Who's signing up to sunbathe their asshole beside their bro? Hey, bro, how's your asshole doing today? Man, I just was feeling a little strained. I just needed to get a little sun on it, and just kind of freshen it up a little. How's your asshole feeling? Nah. and this is what I don't get, right? It's the 21st century. There's just no need for this closeted stuff, man. Maybe this is for the boomer generation that still needs to hide behind their finger. Oh, I'm hiding. Okay, I guess you're hiding all right. But nah, man. I mean, this is just a gay meetup, closeted as wellness. That there's not much more to it than that, as far as I'm concerned. That's all this is. So it's the 21st century. Save yourself a buttload of money, and go down to your local gay bar, or go on to Tinder or whatever. And just hook up, man, if you need to. I don't know what all this cloak and dagger homoerotica is, but it's we're past this nonsense, man. If you're gay, you're gay. If you're not, you're not. If you don't know, you don't need to pay a buttload of money to sunbathe your asshole. Just let's go down to your gay bar and find out. So what else for wellness? Well, I think that's about it. Getting back to wellness, Elon Musk released his Cybertruck, and the memes were out in full steam for this one. So I don't know what to say about this thing. To me, it looks like a kid's boxcar. Aesthetically, it's not anything super special. But that's not to say I'm putting it down. Oh, make it see what I mean? It's a kid's boxcar, and that's okay. It's that's not necessarily a bad thing. What you get for the money, is a 500-mile range electric vehicle that can outrun modern day Porsches. So, it's a super fast vehicle. It's got incredible range. And you'd have to pay the 90K model. Or here you go. I think that's incorrect. I think on his screen maybe they've changed it, but I thought the 500-mile range one was 89, not the 69. I thought that was the 300 range. So that may be incorrect there. I'm not going to go look it up. You can go look it up if you're really that interested in the Cybertruck. But as you can see, a lot of people kind of cracking on it, making it look like an old video game, saying it looks like something from an old video game. Like here's Halo, a Halo meme. A lot of repeats here, but this is what some people thought it was going to come out and look like, which if that was the case, that would have been super cool. And this is kind of what I expected, to look like a truck, right? And, it really doesn't. It looks like a Cybertruck, or it looks like a boxcar. The Cybertruck looks like a boxcar. It doesn't resemble a truck at all, in my opinion. It resembles more of a crossover. It resembles more of your typical, SUV crossover. When I see this, I don't see truck like you see over here. Here you see truck. Here I see at most a crossover, but I'm not getting that truck vibe that you get from like this other picture here. So it is what it is. But it doesn't scream truck to me. I don't see much of a bed here. When they did the demo, it showed a ATV up in the bed, but that was it. The most you could get in there was an ATV, and then that bed was full. You're not going to be doing a lot of towing with that guy. It just this, I see this, right? This is what I see when I see the Cybertruck. I see a crossover vehicle. Here's a picture of the bed with the ATV in it, and this is its loading mode. The tailgate comes down, this little thing comes out, and boom. But you can see that little ATV in that joker, right? I mean, I'm glad it has a bed. You can put some stuff in there, but it ain't much of a bed. And it's not really much of a truck, like I said, it's more of a crossover. Here's a meme of it in Rocket League. That's funny. But yeah, I get that SUV vibe. You don't have it just doesn't, I don't think that when he built this is funny. This is two memes in one. Telling my kids this was a Tesla showroom. That's awesome. I love origami. Isn't that cool? But yeah, I mean, a lot of people kind of hinted at the fact that, this thing just aesthetically and kicking it. There you go. You had all these freaking nice vehicles, and then aesthetically this thing comes out and looks like something from Minecraft. But I mean, I'm not hating on it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think that it's not a bad piece of kit for what you get, but it is not designed to really go after the truck market, right? This is really for your geeks and your Tesla fanboys, right? This is for people that want to play SUV, right? Play off-roader, but don't do any off-roading. And you'll be surprised. There's a lot of folks who do that. I'm not a heavy off-roader. I like to do it, and when I did it on bikes and the ATVs. I didn't really do it with truck. I have a 4Runner, but I have the Limited because I knew that I wasn't going to be taking my 4Runner off-roading. I just wanted the four-wheel capability if I needed it. that's what I have it for. But I needed a bigger vehicle because as I got older, I couldn't do the lean back in the mid-size vehicles anymore. Same reason I couldn't get a Model 3 Tesla. I'd love to get a Model 3 Tesla. I think they're beautiful vehicles. But I just can't fit in them, and I without having to kick the seat way back, and I'm just too old for that. I need to be able to sit up in my vehicle, and so I found that the 4Runner was a great piece of kit for me that provided the room I needed for someone of my stature, and I really enjoy my vehicle, and I also have those great four-wheeling capabilities if I need it. But I'm not trying to drag that joker through the mud. Like I said, I bought the limited version because I knew it was going to be on the street most of the time, and unless it snows or something, I'm not doing much with it. But that's why I got it. If I need it, it's there. And if not, it's a great on-road vehicle. But since buying that, I do want to get me another one and just straight kit it up off-road and really explore it. I've really been impressed with the 4Runner just as a street vehicle. And I just can't imagine its capability as an off-roader, and it's geeked me out to the point that I'm ready to take a look at that and see what it can do off-road. So that may be my next purchase is a twin for my 4Runner. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, you're not going to get, when Elon released this, there wasn't any videos of him demonstrating any real off-road capability with this Cybertruck, right? You saw him pull an F-150 on the street, but that was it. You didn't see this thing jumping through mud puddles, going off-road, and that makes sense. It's electrical, right? And I guess it may not be able to do those things. I don't know, but it certainly, he didn't go after that market when he released this, and and that, all right, he didn't show customization. He wasn't like, you can change these rims out and put on your ATs, your 33s, whatever. He didn't get into any of that, we've got it where you can mount your light bars at these points, that point, He did mention you had a built-in air compressor, but, for what? I don't know, just to fill up your standard tires you get here, I guess. He didn't talk about, there was nothing with real off-road customization that would attract. There was really nothing off-road about it, right? And nothing really about trucking other than like towing something. But it really is more of a crossover, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And like I said, even though aesthetically it's not, what I'd call a game changer, right? I do think, well, I guess you could call it a game changer, but I don't know. It's definitely something different, but it does appear to be geared to a specific market, and that's the thing. It's more of a crossover, and I'll just leave it at that. It's not going to do much other than to be a street ride, and that's okay. You get a 500-mile range with the top of the line one. You get a 500-mile range, and that's gonna cure any range anxiety, and I think that's awesome. And especially with seeing things like, the carbon dioxide levels being so high. Here's a cool little ride. And if you got the money, which I don't, but if I had the 90K, I'd probably pick one of these up just for the 500-mile range, because to me, that's worth it. That, like I said, that takes away, I've got a gas vehicle if I need it. And, but it really does take away any range anxiety, right? You're not going to be thinking about, 500 miles, dude. You can do the whole week with 500 miles plus some. You ain't even got to charge it up during the week if you don't really want to. I mean, I just can't see with everyday use you burning that out. Of course, there's always edge cases, but for most everyday Joe and Jane Blow out there cooking it on the interstate, they're just going to work, coming back, running, do a little groceries, pick up the kids here and there. You can get all that done in a week with 500 miles. So you can do that on one charge, and that's pretty dang impressive. And if he takes that to his other platforms, man, that's really cool. So just breaking that range barrier is fantastic. Like I said, even though it's like a box car, it isn't a bad aesthetic. Like I said, it just doesn't scream truck to me. It does scream crossover, and it's a good looking crossover. But it doesn't scream, like I said, those customizations that you can get with modern day trucks, right? The accessories, changing out your rails, changing out your wheels, changing out your suspension, adding your light bars, all that stuff, adding your radios, all that stuff that you can do in today's trucks, you can't do with this truck, or at least he didn't advertise any of that as an option. Now, one of the cool things that he did advertise was the structural integrity of this thing, which is pretty cool. Like these panels here can sit there and stop a 9mm bullet. Now, this thing tripped me out for a couple of reasons. One, the aesthetic of this guy here, watching him. Oops, did something incorrect there. It was weird to see this cat. Here's a dude that's like 40, high 40s he looks like to me. Trying to do that young look, right? Wearing these skinny jeans with combat boots. It just doesn't work, man. I mean, it didn't work, man. It looked like Peter Pan. To me, this whole aesthetic, man, just didn't work together. Like when I saw this, man, I wasn't like, oh yeah, it kind of added to the ridiculousness, right, of the Cybertruck aesthetic. Not that it's ridiculous, but when I saw this, I thought ridiculous, right? It seemed like they were trying to make the aesthetic someone who's clearly, if not past their prime, right there trying to chase their kid dreams. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it presented I guess the best way to say it is it made me feel like looking backwards rather than going forwards, right? Here was an old cat, trying to dress like a young cat, and to me, from a marketing perspective, there were clashing motifs, right? The Cybertruck itself was supposed to be something forward looking, and having this 40-year-old guy in tights, was kind of backward looking. And so it was kind of a clash of ideas there. And so the other thing was the actual demonstration itself. Now, apparently, like I said, structurally this thing's super strong, right? Or at least that's what he's passing it off as. And that the metal can stop a 9mm bullet. And I guess the purpose of this was to show that the windows could stop a very large ball bearing. But for some reason, the demo didn't go as planned. And the window kind of broke, which led to a bigger question, right? Which was, okay, what happens if this vehicle gets in an accident, right? Because one of the reasons they said that this may have happened where it didn't happen in the off-air demo was that my man here, I don't know his name, hit the door panel with a sledgehammer, which they said probably broke the base of the window, which allowed this bearing to actually break the window. Well, you know, excuses, excuses, excuses. That shouldn't make a difference, right? Because what happens if this thing gets into an accident? Well, it's going to be hitting multiple places, and so if the whole goal is the window's not supposed to be able to break, then guess what? The window's not supposed to be able to break, right? So that includes if the door panel gets hit with a sledgehammer, because that's a very good simulation of a vehicle impacting it at the side. And, that's something they should probably really take a look at, because, to me, that wasn't any excuse whatsoever. And I didn't think it was a good justification for what happened, because they were pitching it. The whole point of this live demo was it could take the hit and it could take the hit, and it took the hit and then it didn't take the hit. And to come back and be like, oh, well, we did that hit first. Maybe if we did it the other way, well, that sounds a little snake oily to me. And like I said, it kind of tarnished the image of what they were trying to do there. Also, the explanation was a little backwards looking and not forwards looking. Like, oh well, rather than saying, oh well, I know what you're saying, but that shouldn't matter. Elon was like, yeah, we probably should have done the demo the other way. Nah, dude. Nah, your stuff should work if you're pitching it that way, not snake oil salesman. But again, with this demo, it was kind of a clashing of motifs. You had your forward looking, which was the Cybertruck, and then you had your backwards looking, which was this old cat, trying to look like literally a teenager, man. I've never seen anybody but teenagers wear combat boots and skinny jeans. I don't know what that is. Or at least here in North Carolina, I've never seen, it's rare, maybe up to 22. And then boom, you just don't see that. And this dude's like, what, 45, 47? so yeah, it's clashing motifs there. So from a marketing perspective, if he wanted to bring on youth, then he should have probably put someone on there that was young. Or if he wanted to say this is for your more sophisticated cat, then he should have probably had this dude looking a little more sophisticated, but to have him looking dressed like a teenager, to me, it just, like I said, it just sent a clash of messages, the Cybertruck being the way forward, and, this cat, just looking backwards. And so it is what it is, but, I just didn't get that. And I guess that's all I got on that. The Cybertruck is what it is. Like I said, it's a nice piece of kit. It's for people that are, that got the disposable income. If you're not someone having babies, then you got the $90K for the Cybertruck. And that's okay. And there you can see a shot of the interior, which is pretty cool. Here's some different customizations for it. You got your camping customization, and you saw the bed there. It's not bad, and
ladies and gentlemen, today I am ordering.
Let's see if we can pause on here. So
this is one of the.
I'll just put that down real quick, but this is one of the things they were showing for like camping and your ATE, but here's the interior. So the interior looks pretty good. It's pretty sparse, but you get a nice display, and that's okay. I like these kind of sparse interiors like this. I like this clean look. I love, this is what I liked about the Model S. I didn't test drive the Model 3, like I said, because I can't fit in the midsize anymore. It's the main reason I got the 4Runner is I didn't want a big truck. I wanted something, because I was going to be doing a lot of city driving. I call it my country coach. But I wanted something that would allow me the headroom to sit straight up, without having to do that lean back, but not be too big that I felt like I was trying to maneuver a bus around. And I don't know what the specs are with this cat. I assume it's probably, when paired with that demo of it pulling the Ford F-150, it was about the same size as the F-150. So it's not bad, but again, it's just got a really short bed. And to me, it's like I said, it doesn't scream truck to me. It screams crossover, and that's okay, But again, it's for people with a much more disposable income, and and more for fun. It's not really they're not really looking to replace the truck. Um, they're just looking for something fun, and it's really geared more toward your geeks and those type of crowds. It's not really geared towards your true truck aficionados who want to do those customization, who want to take it off road, who want to get gnarly with their truck, want to swap out, put whatever tires and rims they want on there, whatever lift kits, whatever suspension, get their winch package, get their light bars, set up their overlanding camper shell on the back or what have you. It's just not there. So again, it's definitely for a certain kind of purchaser. But again, that being said, if I had the 90K for it, I would certainly buy one. I think that the 500-mile range is fantastic, and I think, like I said, this is something that he needs to bring to his entire line of vehicles, because that is just fantastic. That is an unbelievable range. And I think once he's really breaking that barrier of removing the range anxiety, and that's just fantastic, And if he could bring that kind of range level down to the Model 3, I'm sure you would see so much more adoption, because I still think that it's the range anxiety that is the biggest barrier that Elon faces. And he's proven here with the Cybertruck that he's broken it. He's broken the barrier. 500 miles is exactly what you need. You can get your week's work done and not even have to worry about it, man. You don't have to worry about it, unless you're going on a long trip. And then he's got his super highway grid for that he's been developing. But, that's it. He's broken that barrier. 500 miles, get that down to the other platforms, man, and he'll be cooking with gas and cooking with electricity, whatever. But he'll be getting it done, and that's a good thing. And that's about all I got to say on the Cybertruck. The memes are cool. They're fun to check out. I showed you my favorite one, which was the one of the people saying what the truck's supposed to look like. And then, let me see if I can bring that up real quick. I apologize for my video popping in and out like this. I'm recording this on my laptop, and I hate to say it, but my laptop just is not handling it very well. It's funny. I'm going to try to redo my laptop. I don't know if it's just because of the driver package that these guys use, but the only way for me to get OBS to work is I have to tell it to use my processor's GPU, the onboard GPU, rather than the MX250 I've gotten here. Now, I could tell it to grab an application capture, and maybe I'll need to do that next time. But to me, it's ridiculous that NVIDIA's drivers just don't do this automatically, I guess they just don't want the competition for their graphics cards. But, what competition, man? I bought your dang laptop with the MX250 so that I could use that nice graphics card. And, they just always got to do something stupid. So I'll try to reload this myself and load my own OS and see if it's the stupid driver package that they make, that they have this laptop use. But it's silly. But anyways, so this isn't the best quality video, but again, I'm recording on my laptop right now, because I have my other PC. I'm tearing it apart to make room for my new PC. So tearing my case apart so I can make room for my new editing rig. So hopefully I have much better quality videos. But had Tesla done something like this, right? This was one of the renders that people put out that could be, what the Tesla truck was going to look like. Had they done something like this, man, they really would have appealed to the truck enthusiasts out there. They probably could have taken a bigger percentage of the truck market, right? The people that actually buy trucks. I think a lot more people would have come over to the electric side, right? If you had released this cat with 500-mile range, there's no question, right? There's no question that a lot more adoption would have occurred from your typical truck enthusiast, right? They would have been like, well, hell, that's a good looking truck. Let me go check that out. You would have had a lot more people that are buying these 4x4s that don't go four-wheel driving at all. You would have a lot more of them buying that kind of vehicle, right? Whereas with this really is targeted to a very niche market. And and that may be part of it, man. Elon may not be wanting to let go of many of these cats for that kind of money. He's like, yeah, this one's $90K for the 500-mile range, but yeah, I don't really want to get that many out. I don't know, but I do think if he was really trying to go after the truck market, that particular aesthetic doesn't do it. It goes to a very particular niche market of Tesla enthusiasts and geeks, right? Your geeks, dorks, nerds, and Tesla enthusiasts, and I'm one of them. I fit in all those categories. I like Tesla. I just can't afford them right now, and the one I can't afford, I can't fit in very comfortably. But had they done something like that with this truck over here, right? This kind of aesthetic, he probably would have gotten a much larger share, right? He would have seen some real return on investment because he would have been appealing to a much wider base than he is with this particular aesthetic. It is what it is. He made his decision, but I do think that the truck does represent a fantastic milestone in the sense that the 500-mile range barrier that he's just broken, the range anxiety barrier has been broken with the release of this vehicle. There's no reason to worry about if you're getting this as your daily driver, there's no reason to really worry about range. Now, what happens to that range once you actually start towing? That's a different thing, right? If you're going to start towing things and towing loads and stuff around, well, don't expect 500 miles. But say you lose 40% of that, right? You're down to 300 miles. So you get all that towing power with 300-mile range. That's still enough for the week, right? With some towing here and there. So it for what the kit can do, man, it really is a milestone breaker. And like I said, the aesthetic itself isn't that bad. It's just not going after the truck market, right? This was never intended to take away your Ford F-150 buyers, right? It's not going to happen with that aesthetic, right? No F-150 guy is going to be like, oh yeah, Bo, let me run out there and get the scuba truck. Nah, man, that ain't gonna happen, man. Let me go get Speed Racer's truck. Man, that shit ain't happening, man. So I think, I think it is a great piece of kit. Like I said, if I had $90K, I'd buy one. No question about it. I'd do it just because I know I wouldn't have to worry about range. And that's it. I mean, the range anxiety's broke. I know I could miss a couple of charges and I wouldn't be like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I wouldn't worry about that at all. I wouldn't worry about pulling up my local work where they got the two chargers that are always being filled up by the same two assholes. I wouldn't have to worry about it. I mean, I'll just charge it when I get back home. No problem. So yeah, and honestly, they should have something like that if they do for those places at work where those offices that do offer those charging services. They should, have someone monitor that and say, okay, charge it. You hook up for an hour, and then you got to come out and move your vehicle. Because it only needs to be there to charge. But these jokers, leave their thing hooked up all day and no one else can use it. And I don't understand what the point of that is, but that's neither here nor there. Point being is it is a good for the money. It's a good piece of kit, and it is a milestone in breaking that range anxiety barrier. 500 miles is just fantastic, and if he delivers that to his other platforms, especially like the Model 3, and if he gets my 500 mile range to the Model 3 platform, you're going to see some serious adoption there from a lot more people. And if he changes this aesthetic up, right? If maybe this is second gen Cybertruck here, boom, he's going to see a lot more adoption. I mean, that's just plain as day. I mean, that's a good looking truck. That's a all right looking crossover. It's a crossover. There's no question about it. When I see this, I don't think Cybertruck. I think crossover. And that's okay. Like I said, for what you get, it's a fantastic electric crossover. But I wouldn't call it a truck. This I'd call a truck. This I'd call a crossover. Either way, it's a great vehicle. If you got the 90K, because you're no longer having the babies, and you're like, F them babies, I need me a Cybertruck. It's released. You can go order one now and rock and roll. And, it's cool. It's cool. And, you can put it on. Maybe he's got some deals on it for Black Friday. You can get your Black Friday Cybertruck deal. I don't know. I didn't check it out. But speaking of Black Friday deals, you're going to see all the memes of all the people, getting crazy with the Cheese Whiz for Black Friday. And one of the cool things that is going on right now is the Steam Autumn Sale has begun. So if you need to get you some games on the cheap, you can do that now. Now's a good time if you're looking to shop for your kids, want to buy them some games or buy some friends some games. You can get them on the cheap now. This is the autumn sale. So I've already seen some good deals on there. I myself am not really buying any games this year. I bought so many games from the previous autumn, winter, and summer sales that I just don't need any more games. I haven't finished playing any. I mean, I've got a library full of games I haven't played. I just picked them up because they were on sale. But I still haven't played them. And so the only one that I want to get right now on the cheap is Cuphead, and that's still pushing $15, $14.99. So when that gets down to $10, boom, I'm picking up Cuphead. But for me, I'm kind of out of the market for games right now. I still play Tekken. That's a classic for me. I'm still doing Tekken 7. If you ever want to come play, I'm ZZZ Strike. I do that from time to time. I'm really not online that much anymore. Most of my stuff now is going into podcasting, not really into video games. Like I said, I just picked me up for the Black Friday. I picked me up a new Ryzen rig. So that's why I'm doing this on the laptop, and that's why the video is so choppy. Again, it's not because the laptop can't do it. It's because the stupid drivers make it so the laptop can't do it, which really, chaps my butthole, man. And I got this wonderful MX250, and it'll do it if I switch it to app mode, and maybe I'll do that just to test it out. I mean, this is my first time recording on my laptop. But yeah, I've noticed during this whole recording that this little POS graphics card that I have to use is, taking a real hit, and so is my processor, for doing the encoding, because I can't get it to encode when I do the desktop capture to use the MX250. And like I said, if I do an application capture, no problem. I can get it to use the MX250, but right there I can see my video going in and out, and this is just a little webcam, man, and some chintzy screen grab, and it's just bogging out everything. So it is what it is, but I'll have my new rig soon, and hopefully you won't be seeing too many of that. I'm also I might pick up a camera. I don't know. I've kind of blown my budget. So when I get my Patreon page going, every little bit helps. I can get me a good camera system. I got something that I'm going to test out, but I don't know how well it's going to work. It might be too heavy of a rig to set up for to run on my monitor, but I do have a nice 1080p camera that belongs to video conferencing system that I might be able to run in and capture video from that. Because I've noticed that this webcam, the webcam, it says it's 1080p, but it's a webcam, and the quality just isn't that good. But yeah, anyways, not to get too geeky. The autumn sale is going on. It's good to pick up some games right now, and if you don't see your game, then the winter sale will be coming in right after that. December 19th through the 31st. So your game might actually be coming right down the corner in a few weeks. So, but either way, now's a good time to take a look, see what's out there, get some stocking stuffers, some little knickknacks. Some of like I said, some of the games on my wish list are at really good prices. If I just wanted to spend money for the hell of it, I could pick me up some little stocking stuffers for myself, but I've already spent too much, so I'm good for this year. And I think next year might be a camera if this camera system doesn't work. We'll see how it goes. But so I think that's it, for Welcome Back's first episode. Sorry, it's a little bit choppy. Like I said, doing this on my laptop didn't work out as good as I hoped, even though it's a very nice laptop. It's just the way they've got these stupid drivers working that, it's a real disappointment. It is the drivers too. And I don't know why OBS hasn't done more to fix this. Cause they can just, they don't, it's just garbage. Anyways, they could do a workaround, even if NVIDIA doesn't want to for whatever reason. And I'm not sure that's the case. It may just be the driver bundle when you use the pre-installed image, but it really does take a nice piece of kit like this laptop that I got and turn it into absolute trash. And that kind of pisses me off. Anyways, so I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Now here's something that Duncan Trussell put out on his webpage about Thanksgiving. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'll let you take a listen here. So we'll just kind of end it on this.
The DTFH presents, Why Do We Eat Turkey on Thanksgiving?
Most Americans don't know that when they sit down to enjoy their Thanksgiving turkey, they are taking part in an ancient occult ritual. The founding fathers, who secretly worshipped Baphomet, wanted to make the goat the symbol of Thanksgiving, but common people with little minds were afraid to celebrate Thanksgiving in this way, so instead they chose the turkey, which also reminds us of Baphomet. Have you ever wondered why there's a giant red pentagram at the Macy's Day Parade? You guessed it, Baphomet. Roland Macy was initiated into the cult of Baphomet while on a sailing expedition and had the pentagram tattooed on his arm. Each year, Americans attending the Macy's Day Parade take part in a secret occult ritual celebrating the Horned One. We hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Please don't drink and drive.
The DTFH present.
So there you go. And I don't know if that's true or not. It may be, if anybody's got any information on that, I'd like to know. I'd also like to know what this picture's from. This T here may not be a T at all. I forget if it's the Celts or it's one of those Gaelic or something, Viking, Nordic, I don't know. But they have numbers like this. But, are we maybe participating in a secret occult ritual? Maybe. I don't know. It wouldn't be the first time. I mean, people try to get people to do stuff without them knowing all the time. That's human nature. And if you take a look at what Thanksgiving is, right, that's us celebrating the time that these people were really cool and they helped us survive in their environment, and then we totally obliterated their asses to take their shit, So, if you get into the history of it, it's pretty dark stuff, but that's only if you want to look at it that way, People have been gathering around the campfires back to troglodyte days, or at least that's what we know, right? To sit down and have a meal, So if you want to take it in that context of just getting together and having a good time, and just giving thanks for the things we do have, that's cool too. And if it's done in that spirit, then I don't think you're really participating in anything occultish per se. But if you do have any information on this, I'd like to know, especially where this picture's from. Is this taken out of out of what book, right? And what's the purpose of the X here? And I'd like to know more about these symbologies. Like I said, to me, this right here, it could represent a number. If I recall, if you flip that around where the bar's on top, that represents a 1, and I believe it's Celtic astrology or Celtic numerology. Or maybe that's Gaelic. I don't know. I'm not really sure of the difference. And it's getting upset now at my laptop performing like ass, even though it shouldn't. Anywho, I'm gonna give thanks for my new system coming, so I don't have to worry about this, and that'll let me play with my laptop and see if I can reload this from scratch. One thing about being a dork and an IT nerd or an ex-IT nerd working on it, is I can load my own systems, build and load my own systems, and so we'll see what the standard driver package does instead of the one that Lenovo sent me. But yeah, I mean, it ain't that this thing can't do it. It's just that the way they got it set up, that the way that the drivers work on this laptop make it on purpose so that you can't use this for this type of workflow. And to me, that's ridiculous. So anyways, I'm going to give thanks for the skills to at least check it out, and give thanks for all you guys watching, and putting up with my crappy video load. So thank y'all. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you've enjoyed the first episode of Welcome Back. Basically, the purpose of this series is to just kind of welcome you back to the weekend, to have a good time. If you were too busy working 12 hours a day, to point out some cool stuff here and there, some things to take interest in. And we'll play it by ear. If there's anything you'd like me to cover, please feel free to leave it in the comments. And I do hope everybody had a happy Baphomet. A happy Thanksgiving. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Please like and subscribe. I really do want to kind of get my subscriber count up there. So if you guys can help with that, that would be great. A lot of people are starting to watch the videos, and I really appreciate that. But to kind of make it so I don't have to not have my baby in order to live, need to be able to monetize this joker. So please like and subscribe. Please comment. I do like interacting with the community. Please provide feedback on all this stuff. Really would like to do more, especially about the occult, and I know there's stuff out there, but I'm one of them people that like to do my own research. And I found interesting things like just to give an example, Mojo. A lot of people say that it means one thing. When I did my own translation, I found it to actually mean master of horses, which, if you take that, translates to master of intelligence, which translates to the head of intelligence. So to me, what Mojo symbolizes is that Thor is the head of the Asgardian intelligence apparatus, whatever that is. But the name that they tell you it means, it isn't, or at least in my armchair researching, I've found it to mean something else entirely. And so I do like to do my own research. So if anybody's got some good places to go to kind of check out stuff like this, please feel free to leave them in the comments. And you can also hit me up on Twitter at Mojo Returns. And I think that'll do it for this episode of Welcome Back. So welcome back to the weekend, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Try to keep the good holiday vibes going. You know, don't listen to the news at all this weekend. Just go out and have fun with the family. You know, don't talk politics. Or if you do talk politics, you know, just have fun with it. Don't take it so seriously. You know, the best way I've ever heard it is none of those politicians have called you on your birthday to wish you a happy birthday, right? None of them have done anything for you, ever, right? They never have. So don't wash their laundry, okay? It's not your fight, you know. The goal here is for us to have a good time in this world. So spread love, have a good time, and don't get caught up in these fools' nonsense. So welcome back. Enjoy your weekend, and I hope everybody has a great and wonderful day.